A federal high court in Kano on Thursday issued an ex parte order to stop Governor Abba Yusuf from reinstating Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II. In spite of this ruling, however, the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria earlier today received his letter of reinstatement from the governor, who announced the decision on Thursday after signing the Kano State Emirate Council as the repealed the Bill 2024 into law. The new law replaces the Kano State Emirates Council Law 2019 and dissolves the Emirate Councils created by former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje. Now, the House of Representatives on Thursday passed a bill that seeks to pave way for the return of Nigeria's old national anthem, Nigeria We Hail Thee, as an automatic replacement for the present one, Arise O Compatriots. Sponsored by House Leader Julius Yobere, the bill speedily passed through first and second readings, was considered and approved at the Committee of the Whole and passed for the third reading at plenary. Rice News analyst Dayo Sobowale is here to discuss this development and why it should be a priority, despite the myriad of challenges facing the nation. Good to have you as always, Mr. Sobowale.
Pleasure being here, Suja.
All right, just before you were coming into the studio, you mentioned the fact that, this seems to be an interesting topic for you regarding the old days and all that. But realistically, why change the current anthem and revert back to the old one? What's wrong with it?
Let me say, first and foremost, that I share the sentiment of the legislators that led to this. And I want to add that we are in a representative democracy. They are the representatives of the people. The voice of the people is the voice of God. Although this time, I must admit some bias in favor of what they have done. And I will tell you why. You see, you have to look at our history as a nation, both under military rule and under civilian rule, and up to where we are now. Let me just comment that in the House now, you have a hybrid of former generals and colonels who have shed their uniform and are wearing agbada. So it is like a militarized democracy. And I will just go back to how we got here. Now, the first anthem, Nigeria We Hail Thee, I can recall it from memory. And I'm sure not only my generation, if you see the words, say the words, you feel inspired. This was done during the transition from colonialism to our independent Nigeria. And this was something we learned by heart. To me, up till now, it is still like the British anthem. You know, you have colonial mentality. God save our gracious king, choose to be king. I still feel somehow when I sing it, not to talk about our own. But you see, let me put a historical demarcation in place. The first one was by the first Nigerian government. The change was done during Obasanjo's time, when it was military. If you look at the tone of it, Arise O Compatriots, it's always almost military. And you see, what is happening now, I won't say it is retaliation of the civilian against the military, but I understand Tinubu has always objected to that change of national anthem to Arise O Compatriots. Now, he's the incumbent, and I'm sure he will do it. Now, you see, there is a divide between military leadership and civilian leadership and militarized democratic leadership, which is on now. Although at the top is the civilian manning the post. But you see, Obasanjo and Buhari, these are two leaders who are both civilian and military, both civilian and military. And so coincidentally, I think they became civilian politicians 30 years after leaving their position
Yes.
as military. You see, Obasanjo has altered so many things in this country. And he has been an extremely lucky person. He did not come to the war early enough like some of our famous generals during the Civil War, but he was the one who obtained the surrender of the Biafran army, January 15, 1970. He changed that to Army Remembrance Day instead of November 1, which we call Poppy Day.
Yes.
All right. Now, when Obasanjo became head of state, May 29, he called it Democracy Day. You get me now? When Buhari came, Buhari changed that to June 12.
In honor of later.
I'm sure it must have been prodded by Tinubu and others because of the struggle against the military. So now we come to this. I would think it has been inspired by the need for us to reappraise our citizenship values. You get me? If you see what is in the first one, you see there is an appeal to God. There is an appeal to God to help us to be fair to each other. You know, it encompasses our unity in diversity, our multi-ethnicity, multicultural, multi-religious background. I like it. And again, let me show my bias again. You see, this arise to compatriots, when it came, you are forced to learn it. Even I was in the bank then. Some chief executives were dismissed because they could not recite. They could not write this anthem, and the other one. That one.
So I guess to a large extent, we all still have to relearn it
That's
at
right.
this stage.
Maybe you.
Yes,
Maybe
definitely.
Some of us, see, I can sing it for you, but we don't. So in a way, it's a sentimental thing. Yes, and I like it.
Mr. Sobowale, it's a very interesting conversation that we're having today because I think you've put forward a good case for the association with the military era of military rule and the legacy of that era. However, some people are coming and saying, well, should we be romanticizing the colonial era and the evolution from that? If there's a need for a new national anthem that ties everything together, then why don't we put it to Nigerians to create something that resonates with what Nigeria is now? Why should we romanticize the colonial, coming out of a colonial era and the huge influence? I mean, it was written by a British expat. Some people even say the musical arrangement is of a European inspiration. Well, Nigeria is so robust with arts and music and composition and so forth. Maybe it's time for us to let Nigerians come up with something they feel is truly the mark of a democratic Nigeria. What's your take on people who say this?
See, I disagree immensely and totally with that outlook. I'm a Nigerian too. Do you get me now? And I have just elaborated for you. And talking of colonial mentality, I don't feel ashamed if I'm accused of being colonial mentality. Have you not all colonial? Is it our fault that the British came and drove our people away, changed our language, we speak English better than other? These are cultural issues. You can't fight history. You cannot fight history. It's like what they were doing in Britain. Sometimes they are pulling down colonial statues and so on like that. But they have stopped it now. You can't rewrite history. And you are a product of the circumstances in which you find yourself. Do you get me now? I have just told you that I love that anthem. Get me? And I know many of my generation. And I didn't just say it in a vacuum because of the wordings. To me, it is like you are talking of a school song. You know, the emotion, the vibrations, when you sing your school song.
Yes.
But some people might say that the colonialists then did a good job on your mindset.
Of course. Are you denying that?
But is that a good thing?
No, you're an African.
Yes.
Is English your mother tongue or native tongue?
But this is a common, in my home I speak my mother tongue, but the common language of communication that was brought by the colonialists.
Of course. You can reject them and start doing this business in your own native language and see if you will get any job. We are all products. We are all products of, see, this is history. This is history. Although, see, you are fighting back. We are asking for reparation and all that. Look, let African heads of state stand in front of you. They will be in designer suits. You hardly see anybody in native. Get me? But you see, let us live with who and what we are. What is important is that we make life better for our people, our quality of life, to make sure it is eventually, by God's grace, better than the colonialists who put us in this predicament and give us the handicap in the first system. But I have no quarrel. With this new anthem. Okay, this new old anthem, which is
more or less.
And I've told you my bias again. So that this one came in under military something. And maybe Tinubu himself, on behalf of all of us, he certainly scores with the military. That this is our own era. This is elective democracy, not military democracy.
All right, Mr. Sobowale, and as expected, criticism have trailed this action. People are saying that, there are myriads of other challenges that the lawmakers could have focused on. So why is this coming at this time? Why is this so important? And the fast pace at which it was passed is another, inclination towards that. The other proposals are out there, but they're not giving us much attention as
would have been expected. You are very right, Matt. Given the mountain of problems we have and the suffering in the land, maybe the wisdom of our legislators, they think, perhaps, I'm trying to hold brief for them, they think bringing back this inspiring something will make us better Nigerians. Like I said, lift our citizenship values. Because if you look at it, you see, make us live according to the words in that anthem, which is, not oppress one another, treat each other fairly, respect one another, practice justice, accountability. Maybe, perhaps, they thought we strayed into corruption because we abandoned the words of those, the words in that anthem. And they want us to return like the prodigal son, to social justice, equity, accountability, and transparency. I'm not holding brief for that, but I'm in league with what they have done.
Okay.
That's
all right. When you look at some of the tenets of military rule or authoritarian rule, those are the environments where you find that reciting a national anthem, and it's done as almost a thing of discipline. It's very important that one must pledge allegiance every morning and so forth. So if we're now putting our hopes in a national anthem for national orientation, isn't that a concern with the freedom that people are supposed to have to express themselves in other ways? So are we saying everybody has to buy into the national anthem? What's the value of a national anthem, especially at a time like this?
Let me answer. The value of a national anthem, look at the words. See, the words are supposed to inspire. The national anthem will not tell you to go and do corruption and steal. They are supposed to inspire and lift your spirit and make you do good things, both for your country and for yourself, and to treat people better. The other one was talking about rise, O compatriots, Nigeria scored OB. You see, military era. That is almost like pushing you into action. Get me? The other one, Nigeria.
But do we need more of a push to action right now than anything?
Well, you see, don't be a pessimist. See,
I'm not being a pessimist. I'm just saying maybe we need to push to action right now.
If that is down, this year no fault. No, let me address the other issue. hanging there, which is that we have more important things, more serious. Yes, I agree with that. But if they, in their own wisdom, they are the representatives of the people. You and I are not representatives of it. They are the representatives of Nigeria. And they say the voice of the people, the voice of God. If they, in their own wisdom, think this may maybe inspire people to withstand suffering, or inspire people to look up to their country to do more. Like Kennedy said, look not to what the country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. See, the words in that first national anthem, they are inspiring. It's a pity you don't know them, your generation, but I pity you for that. But now, if you make it compulsory,
we're about to know them. Aren't we lucky? We get to know 2 national anthems.
All right, Mr. Dayo Sobowale, Arise News analyst, would like to thank you for your thoughts on those issues. Good to have you as always.